Hello everyone. Oh God, Jesus. Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new Captain's video weblog. We are Wednesday, October the 7th, and today was my second class of English. And I made kind of a step. I don't think it's still really the classes in themselves in itself. The class wasn't really interesting. Um, but I had to talk, so I made the most of what I had to do. Um, what can I say? I mean, that's probably my best opportunity for this class because I have shitty social skills. Uh, so I guess that to find a group to work with, I have to to find to rely on my language skills, and they're pretty good. Actually, I'm pretty concerned about the skills of some people in my class, or in the group I'm with, because we're supposed to be there are levels um, in you know how can I say how you learn languages. The lowest level uh, determined by the EU, the European Union, is I think A1, and it goes up to C2. And when you're at C2, you're basically speaking at a native level. You're speaking as if you were born and always spoke that language. Uh, well, with some limitations, obviously. So, what I'm trying to say here is that here in the second year of masters, we have to be at I think B1 level, and I don't think, and I mean, obviously I'm a little bit biased. I have some bias because I I mean it's I evaluating myself, so obviously that's not good. But I think that I am at a good C1 level, if not C2. And though I should be more concerned than that, because I was using the word. I have been using the phrases like having a hard time, or using the word bleak. Which are words I learned in high school. And as I said, I probably said it in an earlier podcast, video weblog. Why am I saying podcast? My high school, not top notch, not the top the top percentile of the high schools. Not even in my department. I think we were among the last, the bottom of the table. But it was fun. Still, um, I honestly think that I should be concerned, because I am at this point seven years removed from high school. I haven't used words like bleak or grim or really complicated English words, complicated with air quotes, um, in a lot of contexts, maybe while posting on the internet, but that's all. I'm not using. I'm probably more using them out of. Uh, I'm accustomed to use them. I'm not using them as if I were trying to make a point when I'm using them. Even though I could be said, it could be said that I'm making a point that I'm not an ESL. What are you saying, man? ESL is English English as a second language. Second or secondary. But means that you're not a native speaker. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously, obviously, I still have some issues when speaking English because I still use turns of phrases that are very much French. Sometimes, you know, I try to not to do it. Um, but yeah, that class, just thought, hey, if I'm going to do something, um, and if I have to be part of a team, well, since I will not convince anyone to be part of a team because of my sheer charisma, I mean, I probably I've got to do it through what I can do. God, all my arm is just popping here and there. That's really strange. I haven't, probably because I haven't done much physical stuff today. I woke up around 11 or noon. Mainly because I stayed up last night very late to watch the whole Rooster Teeth Rock Band 4 launch party. It was a lot of fun. There was Sex Wing, which is the band created by Funhouse. Funhouse were Inside Gaming. I think I never really watched their content before they switched to Rooster Teeth. So obviously I won't say a lot of stuff, but they were really good. And gotta say, Lawrence is top on the drums. Miles was a beast in vocals, as was Joel from Funhouse, not Joel Heyman, who was tweeting about I mean financial stuff, probably. I mean that's the kind of thing he does, and you know, Achievement Hunter was something else. Matt from Achievement Hunter, not the boss of Rooster Teeth. Um, God, he went all out on Lady Gaga. Well, not literally on Lady Gaga, but he sung Bad Romance. I think I'm not entirely sure because it's all, you know, kind of blurry. I was watching, the first thing I did at the beginning of the night was watching the first episode of Owari Monogatari. Very good. Oh God, they put 2 episodes worth of content, and yeah, it was so good. Like, I knew from the get-go that something was strange, and when you watch the trailer you think, no, that's not okay, what the hell is happening? And it's all because of a math exam. But it's Japan, so what do I know, huh? They are so always so all about the rules. Oh, and it was, I'm not gonna spoil it, but among the light novels, I think Monogatari, if not is not a great light novel series, but has had an amazing, just always so good anime adaptation, except Nisei Monogatari, which is a bit of a letdown, but at the same time it feels like the first episode of Heavy Object. First episode of Heavy Object, you can feel that the series is trying to find itself. You know, there's the character. It's not ecchi, I think, even though the thermic stuff she wears, the princess wears, kind of let's see some skin, and yeah, but the main character, he has a struggle with himself, an internal struggle to not touch her boobs. But how does he do that? How does he manage not to do it? If he wants to free the princess from her shackles, well, from the safety belts that are apparently a bit too that pre- well, it's strangling her literally. I mean, it's probably the closest you get to bondage without having a kind of a sexual context. If you catch my drift. And yeah, I mean, it's trying to find itself. Nisei Monogatari is that in the same sense that Nishio Ishin probably didn't think that he would publish Nisei Monogatari, and it would be the second part of the series after Baken Monogatari. Much like when the author of Heavy Object, I can remember his name for the life of me, probably didn't think that he would find, or he would also find success in Heavy Object. So he kind of explored some stuff, and honestly, I can't blame it. In the case of Nisei Monogatari, it just ended up with a lot of fan service, and I think it's kind of fine because it's one of the most iconic scenes in all of anime. The scene when Koyomi brushes the teeth of I don't want to be wrong. I'm gonna say his sister who does sports, because I don't want to be wrong because he's only got two sisters, but they're so different that if I get it wrong, I'm just going to feel bad about it until the very end, you know. So I don't want to read this kind of stuff. So anyway, but yeah, it's all. I was very tired during the episode, and I found because I'm watching it on a streaming service, legal streaming service. That, I mean, they're picking up a lot of heat because they have this new web player, which is pretty shit. Because I think it's not Flash. So since it's not Flash, it doesn't quite work with some browsers. And also with the first episode of Noragami, the second season, it didn't work at all, and the link to go with the script to enable the script to go back to the old player was broken, I think. So yeah, kind of a bad start for their season, but they are the ones who are pretty much hated by everyone, because they struck a deal with Aniplex, which means there is no official branch of Aniplex in Europe, unlike Viz Media, which is Shueisha, Shogakukan, and Showpro, I think, which have a branch in Europe, which is Viz Media Europe, and in France and I think also Italy, it's Kaze, who are providing streaming on the internet via ADN and with their TV channel, which is J1. Yeah, they have a partnership with Kana for that, which means that while Kana is a product, is the licensing company for series like Psychopaths, it always goes through ADN. And ADN, I mean, it's weird because I remember during the spring season, I think it was the third season of High School DD, and there was this one fan sub who was doing it, and ADN decided that they had the license. The thing with ADN is that it's kind of a shitty system because they're still putting television in front of everything, and that's not really how it works. You have an audience when you're watching anime, in France at least, that doesn't really care about television anymore. I mean, I have a television, I still watch it sometimes, but I don't have a sufficient TV offer to warrant me watching TV 24/7. So obviously, it's kind of shit because they say it's they doing the simulcast, except they're not doing the simulcast because it's with a delay of 7 days at best. But in the case of High School DD, it was 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I mean, it's like you're starting the series 3 weeks after it began in Japan, and you're ending the series 3 weeks into the summer season. And I mean, while that's not bad per se, it leaves a big void because during that time, the you can be well, if you're on the internet, you can be spoiled because High School DD is one of these really successful series despite all the ecchi and the fan service. And if you are going to a page where they talk about anime, going to strike you are going to find a discussion about that. And I mean, yeah. So I think the fans being team found a deal, which meant that they could still sub the episodes and release them, but after 3 weeks, when the episode got to air on their web platform, it would be over. It should be removed from them from their servers. That's kind of a good and a bad decision because it's a good decision because it means that well the fan subbing group team still gets to do what they wanted to do, but at the same time it's a bad decision for the platform because you aren't promoting the platform. You know, there's probably more traffic. I'm probably saying bullshit right now, but there's probably more traffic on the fan subbing team website rather than on the legal platform website. But at the same time, legal platform, you have to pay quite a lot for a lot of series because they have a huge catalog, but you probably don't want to watch it all. And I mean, that's kind of it's an intermediate level of bullshitty system because Wakanim takes the cake with their system that still relies on tokens. 2015, man, get with the times. I mean, you're proposing HD 720p and with sound that's in with his AAC sound 120 kilobits per second, and you're doing that for a month, and the only condition is to open an account. That's okay. I mean, okay, I get it. But at the same time, why the tokens? Why not proposing a subscription-based service? I mean, you're paying a defined amount for a month, and I mean, okay, that's pretty much the thing where you're doing it on demand. You know, you're only paying for what you want to see. That's good, but that's also not really the best because the tokens, man, that's tokens. Tokens are antiquated, and at the end of well, I don't even have the French word right now. Well, at the other end of the rainbow, haha. That's a replacement that I won't be proud of. You've got Crunchyroll, who gets the short end of the stick because they cannot license a lot of stuff. They rely on their old license of the old license of Crunchyroll US that they just translate into French, and then most times they have just short series. They have this season they have I mean, I'm talking a lot of without knowledge because I usually don't browse usually don't search what stuff is licensed until I get faced with the facts. You just, hey, oh, this team has released that, I'm gonna download it. And that's because anime, it's kind of a judicial void that's going to be filled because of the TPP, but not in France, because we're not part of it, even though we have territories in the Pacific, New Caledonia and French Polynesia. But apparently, since they're pretty much independent, well, they have a very high level of autonomy, but they're not independent. And we're not part of the countries that signed the TPP. So in the US, it's going to be probably harder for fan subbing groups. But here, it's kind of a judicial void that's waiting to be filled because we don't, except for Viz Media, we don't have really Japanese companies in France. We had Docomo, which licensed a lot of stuff, but their anime store, I think it was called like that, pretty much foiled a couple of years ago. It lasted a year, I think, and but the thing is, so except when stuff gets licensed, they in Japan, the Japanese companies, they have virtually no power to say, hey, we are holding the copyright, what are you doing, you shouldn't do this. And you're like, yeah, but you aren't properly defending your stuff, so I mean, I'm going to release it with my name in front of your anime, and there's nothing you can do about it. They tried to do something about it, except it's still relying on the power of the companies to license their stuff. And you probably aren't going to license all the anime that exist, because I mean, even though it was not always like to right now, where you can have 50 or so series per season, and that would mean just putting out so much money because licensing costs a lot. You could still license, like, hey, this very successful series isn't licensed, I'm gonna put some money there because there's a market. Oh, this one isn't. But you're not going to do that for all series. Like, you're not going to license Kutsuki Boshi because that's fucked up, and you probably don't want to associate your brand with that kind of shit. Or Yosuga no Sora. There are a lot of series that will still be unlicensed, and there's one series in particular I don't get why it's not licensed, is Anohana, because it's really I won't say that it and Clannad, because these are series that I won't say that they should be licensed, but you don't understand how they managed to not be licensed, because this is just pretty good series. I mean, you get the feels, and I mean, the problem is that they probably were done at a moment. Anohana was an Aniplex project, so it was before the deal between Wakanim and Aniplex was struck. So I can understand why it's not licensed. But that's the thing. You probably aren't going to license an older series. Series that I don't get why they're still not licensed are like the whole Toaru Majutsu no Index and Toaru Kagaku no Railgun series. They're probably among the most successful light novel series, and Kaze, I think, licensed Haruhi Suzumiya no Yutsu, and they won't license this, and I'm like, yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense. But they licensed Heavy Object, And when you see some ripped series, you can see who did it, because just from the font type, you know. Usually Crunchyroll will use Verdana, I think. I think it's Verdana. I'm not entirely sure, and it will be normal case. ADN and Wakanim usually put I think it's a serif font with, and it's always bold. And I mean, you can download stuff from Wakanim. No, you cannot. No, 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 no. Yes, you can. Of course, you can. You can download everything if you put your mind to it. But yeah, ADN, they're still pretty bad at countering piracy. They're, I mean, the only thing they have for them is saying, hey, we hold the copyright here, you cannot do this, we will take you to the court. And even though in the US it didn't work because there was a general lack of interest, here in France I feel like it would work, because at the end of the day, most fan sub teams are made up of teens, so they will say, hey, I don't want any trouble with the law. I don't even have graduated from high school. I barely speak English and French. Hey, look at how it comes back to my English class. So I'm not going to do some stupid stuff. And going back to my English class, I think some of the people in my class are probably, I'm going to talk a lot of shit right now. They're not above level A2. And I'm not saying that since you are in the second year of masters, you should be a B1 at least. I know that most people have better things to do that probably don't involve stuff in English. But I mean, if you're going to say, hey, this class is not for starters, it's not, you're not going to learn the basis of English. You're going to be at a level that's at least B1. Well, I mean, you should probably do a test to check the skills of the people, just to see if they are a B1 or above or under B1, which means that maybe it would necessitate to put more money into stuff. You know, like, hey, you have to do classes for people who aren't up to the fucking... Oh, there was a fucking little fly going right to my face. What the hell, man? Are you suicidal? Yeah, would mean more money, because, hey, you have to put a class to get those people to a level, and they have only one semester, because in January they're probably going to do their internship. Oh boy! And hey, who am I to say that? I'm just an arrogant dude on the internet. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. We will be Thursday, October the 8th, and I will probably be very disappointed because I haven't been able to watch NXT TakeOver Respect because I have classes at 9 in the morning. So, thanks. Bye. Also, they say you should speak up, you should speak with your belly. I'm still speaking pretty much with my throat. If I were to speak with my belly, I don't know, it would sound pretty bad. Or pretty loud. Depends. I still feel the vibrations still up there. I mean, it's not going down my chest. It's probably mid-lungs at best. I mean, it's not very